sapphires are here to fulfill your every need. Wherever you were before, that's over.
You are my only way out of here. I must choose. I roll wisely. Wrinkle the night.
When I first saw this movie, or even heard about it, I felt excited. I thought this movie was going to be extraordinary, scary, and bone chilling. But then, I was wrong. This movie follows successful author Veronica Hangley, who is finishing a book tour before she returns home to her husband and daughter. But a shocking turn of events is about to upend Veronica's existence, plunging her into a horrifying reality that forces her to confront her past, present, and future before it's too late. That past, ladies and gentlemen, was slavery. Basically, she was kidnapped by a group of racist white people and forced to relive what her ancestors lived back then before the Civil War. Basically, it's where it got its name Antebellum, before the Civil War. Now, this movie could have really played on that time if they would have added a time travel device. However, the fact that she was kidnapped and the way they showed it in the later acts was very confusing, very perplexing, and basically it didn't make sense to me as a viewer, and it probably didn't make sense to a lot of other people that was reviewing the movie. It's one of the reasons why I gave it 2 stars out of 5, because it was the editing that really hurt this movie. The visuals were very appealing. I loved the visuals of this movie. It was very daunting. It really gave you an illustration of what slavery was like during before the Civil War and why it needed to end. This movie captures that very well. However, again, the editing really just messes it up. The editing for Antebellum was dreadful. It's horrible. It's one of the worst editing jobs I've ever seen in watching film. The editor was all over the place, trying to connect scenes, trying to surprise the audience with red herrings. It just didn't make sense. In fact, as a viewer of this movie, it confused me. And most importantly, it killed the momentum of this movie, Antebellum. Honestly, if it was re-edited the right way with a different editing team, I believe the movie would have won an Oscar. This movie could have generated so much appeal. However, because of its mixed editing, the movie lost so much of that. I can't describe it, but social justice and what's going on in the United States, particularly over Black Lives Matter and the death of George Floyd, this movie could have really resonated and hit home, but it missed the mark tremendously. Watching it, re-looking back at slavery in the United States, it made you think like, wow, this movie could have really hit that point, but it didn't. It could have used time travel as a device, but it didn't. And because of that, it lost its appeal. that appeal didn't do it for me. And that's why I gave it a negative review when it came to appeal. I gave this movie 2 stars out of 5 because the visuals were stunning. Elements of a coherent story was somewhat there. The acting was good. I liked the acting. It was really good. There were terrifying scenes that made me gulp, you know. However, the editing done by John was just dreadful. It was dreadful enough that it took me away from the story. It created a sense of distraction for me that I just could not watch it for a second time and try to appreciate it. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 29%. Honestly, I would give that movie 45% as opposed to the 29% on Rotten Tomatoes. I felt like that was a bit too low. But then again, that's just Rotten Tomatoes and its reviewers. I'm looking at this movie from an objective point of view. The visuals were stunning. The acting was good in terms of its convincibility, being able to take me to that time period and making me feel like I was in the antebellum South before the Civil War. They took me to that moment. However, and I've said this again and over again, that the editing done by John was just dreadful, and it basically destroyed this movie. This is my overall analysis of the movie. 2 stars out of 5. You can go and see this movie and see for yourself. Trust me, you will. I mean, like I said, you will enjoy certain aspects of the movie, certain aspects of the film. But other than that, the movie is something that you just watch once and that's about it. It's a pretty forgettable film. I feel like there could be better films that could take from these visual cues and really do something stunning with it. So again, you could watch this movie, but I wouldn't highly recommend it. It's something you watch once and that's about it. That's my take on Antebellum, the movie. Thank you for watching this review. Please subscribe to BKJ Mac TV for other future reviews on other movies. Thank you and have a good night or have a good day wherever you're from. Thank you. Bye.